Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. I guess I have to explain the title. Basically, I was trying to think of a Fallout 4 challenge that I was in the mood for and what ending I'd go for, and ended up deciding that I didn't want to go for any of the endings. What happens if I just try to sabotage the main quest line at every turn? I don't know. What happens? I have no idea, I've never tried it. What happens if we wipe out Father the Railroad, attack the Brotherhood, and the Minutemen? I don't know. What happens if you open fire the minute you see Nick Valentine? I've got no idea. I don't even know if it's gonna let us very far into the main story at all if I try this stuff. I've never thought to do it. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through with the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I mean, I kinda hope we can't win. I feel like that would be more interesting. Although, I guess it would be funny if we can still beat the game despite my best efforts. I figure Bethesda tried to make it impossible to lock yourself out of the main story, but it also wouldn't shock me at all if I just do something that bugs out an NPC forever. I could see it going either way. Let's explain the rules. There's no rules. I'm just trying to break the main story. Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. Not much to say about my build in this one. I just went ahead and spread out my stats so that I could get all of the crafting perks, as well as a few fun ones like Bloody Mess. It's not crazy strong or anything super well thought out, just kind of fun stuff. The whole idea of this is just an excuse to make a fun Fallout 4 video after all. So yeah, the first thing I do is go get dog meat and then wander into the wilderness. The earliest main story stuff that we could do is Minutemen stuff just next to the start of the game, but I want to save that for a little bit later. I figure that if there's any quest line that we can't actually fail, it's gonna be that one. So I want to go have some fun first. Plus, I've never actually tried to take out Preston Garvey, so I want to come up with a fun way to try before I see him. The first area I find is this quarry. There's a dude here that says he'll give us caps if we help him out, but then I shot him in the back and he only had like 5 caps. So really, I'm the genius for not working for this guy. 5 caps isn't even worth a bullet I used on him. I've never really played Fallout 4 in this way. This is kind of fun for a one-off. We're Dirk Dickbutt, Agent of Chaos. Next area, I wandered up to this radio station with a raider fort at it. It's actually a settlement that you can build up. You just have to clear it first, and there's a raider with power armor, and he loves firing nukes at us. Most of the raiders here throw explosives, so we end up dying like 10 times before I ended up getting them to waste their explosives by throwing them at walls and rocks. Once I cleared the whole place out but Boomer, I tracked him down just to find that he somehow stuck himself under some stairs. I'm not really sure how he got there. It took ages, but I shot every single bullet I had for every gun other than our last few shells of our shotgun, before we finally got this amazing kill. Hey, at least we got a fat man early. The missile launcher, not the, man. No ammo for it, though, since he shot all of it at me. I'm sure we'll find more ammo for it later down the line. You know this is gonna be a fun one. So I guess I gotta figure out a format for this video, right? Well, I know how I want to handle the Brotherhood of Steel and the Railroad. We can pretty much just walk in and blast them away. I'm not sure how to ruin the Institute without getting far enough into the story to get there, though. I figure the way this is gonna go is I probably won't be allowed to kill Preston Garvey. At least not until after we've been to the Institute. Then maybe he won't be flagged as a main story character, I'm not sure. But if there's an ending that you're not able to completely cut off, then it's probably that Minutemen one. If that's the case, then I'm gonna have to just have as much fun as possible along the way, trying to ruin everything. Like, what happens if I start shooting down the Minutemen guys during the invasion of the Institute at the end of the game? I have no idea. Maybe I'll even find a creative way to ruin the game before then. I'm way too excited for this. Yeah, I'm not waiting this time. I didn't do it.
Mayor McDonough?
1 second, sir.
Oh, okay. I guess that's fine. Maybe I can ruin the quest if I vaporize the secretary. Ah, no luck. I guess she's plot important. That makes sense. She has a lot of dialogue with Valentine later. Well, it's gonna be quite the surprise for her when the guy who rescues Valentine is the same guy who randomly broke in and tried to murder her. Alright, so next is Park Street Station. This is the first actual main story quest of the game that's required, since you have to free Nick Valentine before you can go looking for Kellogg, even if you already know where his base is. He just doesn't actually spawn in there until you do a quest that requires Nick Valentine to be free. There's no point talking about Park Street Station this time, right? Normally these challenges are all about me trying to win, so telling you about the mandatory places that I have fights in is important. But in this run, there's no special combat challenge, so I think it makes it more interesting to talk about the fun side areas more, and mostly just talk about the main story when we're trying to ruin it. Speaking of, I'm just gonna let this footage play in full. You'll know why.
You gotta use that terminal by the door.
Haha, my knight in shining armor. Question is, why does he come all this way? Risk life and limb for an old private eye.
For real? We're not even gonna talk about that? No, stop it.
All these vaults run together for you too?
Really?
Nick.
Oh.
You gonna talk? Why'd you risk everything to find me? I'm just a private eye.
I decided I'd go around Boston for a while, just exploring before I get back to Diamond City with Nick. And by exploring, I mostly meant sprinting away from super mutants. We're still in that awkward early part of the game where you're super fragile if you're not using power armor, and I never really use power armor in these runs. Wait a minute. Just remember, this isn't really a challenge run. Why aren't I wearing power armor? Oh yeah, I haven't gotten from Concord yet. Well, I did find some Raider power armor bits earlier. I don't think it's a full suit. I could buy a power armor frame and use it for that. Nah, let's just wait until Concord. I don't think I'll have to worry about dying so fast once I get my first gun that isn't complete trash. Alright, we're back with Nick. I guess the secretary just doesn't remember me? Hey, I don't know if I'd remember that well either after taking 5 pipe shots to the head. They're gonna be talking for a while, aren't they? Well, that just means that this is a great time to tell you about this episode's sponsor, Chimera. The fall sale is still going on now, and it's only getting colder. That means it's the most magical time of the year, hoodie season. Of course, Chimera has you covered, both literally and figuratively. If you're a pullover kind of person, then they've got these beautiful and warm pullover hoodies to wear. I have a nice crisp white one myself. It does a great job of keeping the autumn winds from being too rough. And of course, they also have zip-up hoodies, if that's your preference. Personally, I'm more of a zip-up guy in the fall and a pullover guy in the winter. So if you guys want to support the channel and look good while doing it, then hit up the link in the description to go to Chimera and pick up something comfortable to wear this fall. If you're gonna go pick something up, then make sure to use the promo code Mah-Dry-Bread at checkout to get 10% off your order and to let them know that I sent you. Now let's go see if we can ruin Diamond City. So we have to get into Kellogg's house, but we need to get a key from the mayor first. Or actually, it's the secretary that has it after you talk to the mayor. I mean, it's just an item that we pick up, so I don't think that we can fail this, but that doesn't mean we can't have some fun. Aw. I really didn't think he was gonna be a plot-important character, to be honest. Are most major quest givers just off-limits in this game?
I'll let you off with a warning this time.
Ah, do you hear that? We're getting let off with a warning after shooting the secretary 12 times. How did I never know that Fallout 4 was this lenient? I guess we have to go do Fort Hagen now. This is where you have to do the boss fight with Kellogg, but there's nothing really special to do here. It's not like there's a plot-important character that we can mess with in here. To progress the story, we just have to grab electronic bits out of Kellogg's head after we shoot it clean off his neck. Then we go take that to the memory den, and that's where we're going to learn about the glowing sea to meet a dude who teaches about the Institute's teleportation and stuff. Then we go to Green Tech Genetics and fight the Courser. I think pretty much everything after that is faction related, but I'm seeing a few opportunities to possibly ruin this playthrough. Oh, and the Kellogg boss fight took me like 4 tries, even though this isn't even a challenge run, just because my armor and weapons all suck. Plus, I don't have much armor. I haven't really set myself up for success, to be honest. I plan on upgrading the gear soon. All right, Nick, I know we went through a lot of effort to bring you here, but we can't figure out how to get into the institute if the person running the memory den is dead.
What just happened? Better not try that again.
You'd better not do that again. I love how quickly they forgive.
Time for you to reverse death itself.
What?
Oh my god, did you see that? The bullet wounds and blood just faded away as she was talking. She is reversing death itself. Okay, next is the glowing sea, although I'm not going there yet. If we're running all the way across this place, we'll find a super mutant who used to be a human working at the Institute. Now you might think if there's a way to ruin the main plot, it's gotta be this guy, right? He's got turrets at the front door, he's hiding out in the most lethal place on the map that he could find, and he's a super mutant. Even if I can't take him out, there's gotta be no way he's gonna forgive me for shooting him, right? Anyway, we're at Hallucinogen right now. The reason is simple. It's a mostly easy dungeon where you can grab tons of energy cells to use in your energy weapons. I just upgraded my Institute rifle to be much better than before, but I've got just about no ammo for it. I remember this place from one of my old challenges and decided it would be a great place to stock up. Plus, is it even worth showing you the glowing sea? I just sprint from one end to the other, nothing ever hits us. At least with this, you get some cool urban combat footage. Anyway, assuming that Bethesda made Virgil immortal and infinitely ready to forgive, we have to do green tech genetics, and that place is difficult enough that I don't want to do it without a decent gun. Well, I've got my decent gun now, I just need to get enough ammo to get away with using it for probably most of the rest of the run. Wait, I have an idea that might ruin the run. I'll tell you later. Alright, so I went into Virgil's cave and I ran in guns ablazing. I blew up all of his robots and security, and we managed to take him down reasonably fast, although I had to be careful since he does a ton of damage. And oh my god, I may have done it! Every time that he gets back up, he seems like he might be peaceful for a moment, but then he keeps fighting. Even then, I leave the cave and come back, and he stays hostile! I may have finally done it! Okay, one last experiment. I'll leave, fast travel away, fast travel back, then try talking to him again.
Hey, Virgil.
What?
Alright, so that has me stuck going through green tech genetics. This is just another combat-oriented dungeon, a pretty fun one, but difficult one. We're just trying to fight our way to the top of a tower so that we can kill a courser and get the relay thing that we need to build a teleporter. Just like with Fort Hagen, we're just going through here for an item from a boss, so I don't think that we can really ruin the plot here. After this, though, we're able to go pick a faction, so maybe we can ruin it there. I'll go to the local Brotherhood of Steel and Railroad bases to ruin my chances with them, then finally go back to Concord at the start of the game and see if I can ruin my chances with the Minutemen. There might be a way to ruin the run before that, though. The chip that we're getting has to be decoded, and normally in the storyline, that has you find the Railroad if you haven't already. I've never tried shooting up Railroad HQ before getting this decoded, so I don't know if you're able to have someone from another faction decode it instead. I figure you can, since every faction has a science person who can build the teleporter, but I guess we'll just see what happens when we get there. Oh, and the Corsair fight was actually really easy. It does take a lot of damage, but he never really paid attention to us. He was too busy shooting Nick, so we beat him in like a minute. I guess it's time to go pay a visit to the Railroad then. So the Railroad was ready with their big floodlight surprise, so I got the first strike on them with a missile right down center lane. Now this fight wasn't super easy because Glory has tons of health and a minigun, but I mean, I have 9 rockets and I'm pretty well upgraded on the Institute rifle. As long as I'm careful to use cover, I'm fine. What's mostly annoying was that the other Railroad members like to pick up the minigun to use on us after Glory dies. The actual interior of the base is super easy. Nothing here is a real threat but Pam, and it just got stuck running back and forth in a corner. I was wondering how I was going to decode the thing without Tinker Tom, but it turns out you can just decode it yourself instantly just by using the chip on one of the machines that was sitting there on the table. Well, that was super easy. I guess we just wiped out the entire Railroad early. That was fun. Oh no, these innocent ghouls are being attacked. I have to save them. No friendly fire on the Brotherhood until the ghouls are dead. I guess I'll help. Alright, so after spending ages having to run away from ghouls because I've leveled up too much and so they're too strong and Dance is completely helpless to fight them on his own, we ended up taking them down. He goes to thank us, we start firing rockets at him, completely obliterating his backup, and after switching to our Institute rifle, we killed Dance. I kinda can't believe it, finally, a major character who doesn't have plot armor until the time is right. Well, I guess he had plot armor while the ghouls were attacking, but it's to avoid friendly fire, I'm assuming. All that's left is the Minutemen. So I get to Concord, and I was gonna be all funny and fire a rocket at Garvey as he yells for help from atop the building, but, well, the Brotherhood heard what we did and dropped 3 dudes with power armor onto the top of the building. I was eventually able to take one down from afar, but the other ones just picked up the minigun and he dropped us so fast. We didn't stand a chance. On the second try, I just ran into the building since they don't follow us. Let's see if we can blow them up like we did the Brotherhood and the Railroad.
Hey, Sturgis.
What? Don't look at me, new guy.
Alright, I guess that's what I expected to have happen. Let's make some progress then. Alright, so once we got back outside, the Brotherhood were just gone, so I could complete the mission as normal. Once we got back to the settlement, I get our first quest from Garvey to help out some settlers. Oh yeah, I'll help them out alright.
I had some trouble. That settlement you sent me to, they aren't going to support our cause.
Oh my god, that actually let us skip the quest. It then gave us the quest to go make a base out of the local drive-thru. Alright. Oh my god, guys, I think I actually broke the game. So this is a normal quest, right? You show up here, some mole rats come out of the ground, and then they attack you, and once you take them out, you can take over the settlement. Thing is, only one mole rat came out of the ground. The other ones won't spawn, so I can't kill them, locking the entire settlement. I tried waiting, I tried sleeping, I tried fast traveling away and back, nothing worked. In one last ditch effort to see if it was broken, I just went back to Garvey and he randomly gave me a quest to make the teleporter. What? I don't think I'm supposed to get that yet. I could have sworn you need more than one settlement to get this quest, but alright. So we really quickly make the teleporter, go shoot up Father, and this time it doesn't do the glitch where they don't turn hostile. I actually prefer that I had to fight my way out this time though, because although they have a lot of health, I got to steal their awesome synth armor. So we got a whole new set. We're going straight from leather armor to synth armor. Once I got back to base, Garvey gave me some more settlement quests. Alright, now as much as I really want to just shoot everyone the moment I see them like last time, we actually can't. Yeah, you could technically just kill the settlers every time and never progress in the quest line, I guess. But until we have 8 settlements with people in them, you're just going to be given this quest forever. As far as I'm aware, it can spawn forever, because it's radiant questing. I guess you could say that I've officially reached a fail state, because unless I do the quest their way, it'll never progress. But I guess you could just as easily argue that I could just choose to not walk to the end of the game. It's not like I've made it unwinnable yet, you know? I don't know. Maybe if I go around and take out the settlement owners until there's not a single one left on the map, maybe then he'd stop giving me quests. But it still wouldn't be locked off, because if you just take over a settlement by, you know, wiping out everyone in it, and then you put up a recruitment beacon and it gets people in it, then it will count as a Minutemen settlement. So even if you hypothetically wiped out every single one of these, all it takes is a recruitment beacon and you can still beat the game. So yeah, not unwinnable yet. Let's keep going. All right, I'm actually gonna walk around and get 8 settlements for the Minutemen. It's a massive pain, but you gotta do what you gotta do. All I can do is go around, get a bunch of settlements, do the mandatory Minutemen castle quests that take forever, and then we can attack the Institute. I'm pretty convinced that I can't ruin the run at this point, so I'm just holding out hope for it to be really funny when I open up fire on the Minutemen in the final scenes of the game. I'm gonna give you a quick rundown on exactly how this Minutemen stuff works, at least based on what I know from the wiki. There are like 3 actual Minutemen specific quests that aren't just these generic ones. There's one where we take over an old castle by killing a Myer Queen, another one where we go through the basement and unlock the Armory, which takes like 5 minutes, and then a quest where we defend the base for like half an hour from waves of enemies until the quest completes and we're able to go do the final mission of the game. These quests are all gated behind how many settlements we have. We need 4 to take over the castle and unlock the armory, but we need 8 before we can get the quest to defend the castle, and you need to defend the castle to unlock the final quest of the game. Our starter town of Sanctuary counts as a town, but is the only one we've got. I have one other settlement, but no one lives at it, so until I get a recruitment beacon there, it just doesn't count. Only populated settlements that are under your direct control are going to count towards the counter for this quest. So yeah, I really don't have many main story quests left, but just about every settlement quest is going to require that I run to a new location that I haven't been to before, so that I can get the quest from those settlers, then run to another place that I haven't been to before, clear it out of enemies, and then I come back and hand it in, then go to Garvey, let him know, and then he'll let me know where the next settlement is, and then I can rinse and repeat. Now, if that sounds like it's going to take a long time, it kind of does, especially considering partway through I have to fight the Myer Queen. I don't think I've ever cleared the castle without dying at least once. I'm kind of hoping that the conquering of the castle and the defending of the castle don't completely wipe out our supply of fusion cells, because we really need that ammo. It might be smart if I hunt around a few shops and see if I can buy more missiles, since I think I blew through all of them, and I figured that they'd be useful against the Myer Queen. Plus, I need a little bit extra on hand to occasionally fire at my allies just to see what'll happen. You know what's important. Now, these settlement quests range from super easy with lots of walking to completely awful. For example, the first quest that I was sent on had me clearing out a whole quarry of raiders, spending literally hundreds of bullets from multiple guns trying to take down super tanky targets. Some of them were in power armor. I actually ended up stealing the power armor off a body, repairing it, and coming back in my own power armor just to deal with them. It took an entire 21 minutes from when I was told to go to this settlement until I was actually in here shooting down the boss, just to end up having to do the entire thing again because I went a bit deeper into the dungeon, fell in a pit of water that you can't get out of without ditching your power armor, and obviously I was not willing to ditch my power armor. What an unbelievably frustrating trap. We start with 1 settlement, so this is 1 of 7 settlement quests that we're gonna have to do. I will say, it looks like there's an interesting backstory behind this quarry. Maybe I'll revisit this place one day when it's not in the context of Minutemen Quests. The second settlement told me to go to some Ironworks where I got instantly completely blinded by flamethrowers. Just look at the insanity on screen. I've got my giant power armor hands and our ridiculously blocky and huge Institute rifle eating up a good 30+% of the right side of the screen, a half-transparency overlay over the entire bottom 30%, and even when sprinting, I can't get away from the flames, so I'm just blindly shooting into the fire to hit them. I can't see anything right now. I guess I'm happy that the power armor is keeping the flamers from doing very much damage, but I know I'm wasting ammo trying to hit these guys. I'll give the raiders credit, I didn't see this coming. I get the feeling that this is going to be another one of those real cool dungeons where you only need to get partway through to finish the quest. So the insides of the Ironworks are all these Smoky Factory mazes of makeshift metal walkways. It's pretty much impossible to see where the enemies are around here without heavy use of VATS to spot them, what with all of the smoke and light pollution going on. As you could guess, they love using fire weapons here, so we're constantly getting hit by Molotovs out of nowhere. They wrecked our power armor pretty fast. Honestly, one of the nicest things the power armor does for us is just lets us use stim packs without the animation. That saved our life multiple times. Once I get to the blast furnace, we watch as the leaders of these guys, some dude called Slag, tries to convince some kid called Jake to join them. Looks like he was trying to join their group, but now this guy won't let him join until he kills us. Jake is all confused that he's being told to kill us, and I'm over here confused about how Jake thought that joining a band of raiders who cook people alive with flamethrowers would not result in him having to cook someone. So I tried to convince Jake to kill Slag, but he won't, so I just opened fire. Jake takes up our side in the fight and seems to be immortal since he keeps getting back up. This isn't really a very hard fight since Slag himself doesn't seem to do much damage, but he has a ridiculous amount of health and armor for a dude with no helmet. I went through 1,300 bullets with my minigun in this one dungeon alone. Once he went down, we grabbed the guy's sword and went back to the settlement with Jake. We take him back to his parents' farm, watch him bicker with them, and then make up, and that's another settlement down. Last one before we could defend the castle was one where we just took out a few super mutants. I know that sounds way harder than fighting raiders, but it took me like genuinely 2 minutes. The super mutants took less hits than the raiders did in the last 2 quests. Now let's go take a castle. So for the first time ever, I beat the Myer Queen on the first try, but it still took forever. We ran out of bullets from multiple good guns, ran out of missiles, and burned through a lot of stim packs. Weirdly enough though, our armor was in pretty great shape by the end. The Myer Queen's acid spit does crazy damage, but it doesn't seem to actually hurt our armor very much. I guess it's because it's damage over time. You know, I've always kind of wondered what the intended way to win this fight was. Did they expect you to just use power armor and tank it like you would a Deathclaw at the start of the game? Because that acid spit melts right through your power armor like it's nothing. The minigun really doesn't do a very good job on this fight unless you have a ridiculous amount of ammo, and even explosives and crits with good weapons do just about nothing. Maybe there's a fat man and a bunch of ammo stashed in the base and I'm supposed to be grabbing that or something? I don't know, I always ended up just very slowly brute forcing it by shooting him from the halls of the castle. After clearing the castle and fast traveling away and back a few times, we got the quest to get into the Armory. This requires that we clear the underground full of mines, and there's a security robot down there, but I've literally never once seen him not get stuck in the room that he starts in, so I just keep using guns that I never really use to slowly pick away at him from the doorway. Once you've taken off one of his arms, you can pretty easily just shoot him from the doorway without him being able to hit you much at all. It's one of those fights where if you went toe-to-toe with him in the same room, you'd probably have a horrible time, but just standing outside of the room makes the fight trivial. Okay, that's the last of the Minutemen Castle quests until we have more settlements. The first settlement that I freed in this section, I didn't even remember to record, but it took me like 5 minutes, so it really doesn't matter. The second one is the water treatment plant that I feel like I've done a bunch of times in these runs, and I don't really know why. I've probably been here for Minutemen quests before, but I think I also cleared this place when I was getting footage for that Fallout 4 Companion's worst to best video that I made years ago. I remember my companion glitching out and flying through a wall and never coming back, because, you know, it's Fallout 4. Sometimes it just happens, and you have to go looking up the console codes to fix it. Anyway, the water treatment plant itself isn't hard, but it's kind of fun. One of the few Mirelurk areas of a Fallout game that I don't completely hate. Generally, I find Mirelurks really annoying to fight, but our hunting rifle actually does a pretty awesome job. So it only takes about 15 minutes to clear the place out. There was one legendary enemy, but I think we killed it in like 10 seconds. It went fine. After that, we had one last settlement quest, and it was super easy. We just shot up some bugs in a house. They didn't do any serious damage to us, and they weren't a very long run away. The entire quest line with travel time took like 7 minutes. After that, Garvey finally says that the castle is gonna be attacked. That's great, because that's the last quest before we get to attack the Institute ourselves, and that's the time that we can have some goofy fun. We gotta survive this battle first, though, and I remember it being kind of hard in the VATS only run. Alright, so it's time to defend the castle. You don't actually have to build defenses, you can just leave and come back and the fight will start, but we had the supplies, so I actually got the defenses built up. It's just a few turrets and a few guard posts, I don't really expect it to do much. I'm just hoping that I can get tons of energy weapon ammo from all the Institute that we're going to be fighting. So the raid wasn't super hard, although when a lot of coursers build up, they can get really dangerous. I did go through a decent amount of stim packs, but really the most punishing thing was that their bodies despawned very quickly along with their weapons. This means I don't get a chance to grab nearly as much ammo as I was hoping for. That said, this went much quicker than in the VATS run, probably because I'm able to shoot so much more in the same period of time when I don't have to only use VATS. I think it took me about 30 minutes to win last time, but this time it only took me 12. So like a medium short dungeon length. Really not that bad at all, that's a pretty standard quest length. With that done, it's time to finally raid the Institute. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, despite being the final dungeon of the game, there's literally no danger. Just like how in Fallout 3 there's simply no danger in the whole last quest because you have a giant death robot protecting you as well as multiple dudes in power armor, in Fallout 4 I just have to fight synths that are weaker than ones I've already fought at the castle, and once we get to the open parts of the Institute base where we could actually be in danger, we have a bunch of Minutemen guys who do half the work for us. We still have to fight and aggressively take them down before they overwhelm us, but I'd have to pretty much be away from keyboard to have lost this. The closest thing this place has to a boss is either the melee dude with a unique name in the main room who went down in like 5 hits, or the guy with a missile launcher in the reactor room who just hits a wall with a missile like every single time. It went fine, but you all know what the real final boss of the Institute is. Robo-Sean! Ah, it goes through the kid. That's no fun. Well, I can gib the non-named Minutemen and no one seems to care. I leave the kid behind, teleport to the top of the skyscraper to set off the bomb, and say one final thank you to Garvey before the end. Well, I'm a bit disappointed that I didn't manage to break the game, but I had a fun time. It was really cool seeing how different characters reacted to getting attacked. Like, some would get back up and instantly be peaceful, and then other ones would get up and keep fighting you until you left the area and come back, and sometimes you even had to fast travel. It's also just hilarious taking a rocket and gibbing 3 of someone's friends right in front of them, then having their dialogue not change at all. Preston has a weirdly high opinion of me for some of the things that he has watched me do. Anyway, I hope you guys like that run. For next Saturday's challenge, it's back to Pokemon with Pokemon Platinum with 1 Chingling. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna lose that one. On paper, it looks like a nightmare, and I've got a habit of losing Platinum challenges. As always, I'm looking forward to your suggestions in the challenge request section of my Discord channel and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time. Man, what do I have to say is, this is voiceover day, and later today I'm starting that Pokemon Platinum Chingling run. I'm gonna lose that, right? Like, how, in what world could I win that? I looked at Chingling stats and stuff on paper, and like, I didn't win the Shinx run, right? That Shinx run was absolutely brutal. How am I gonna win a Chingling run? Look, I know that often if I lose a Pokemon Platinum run, it's because of really ridiculous fighting type moves. That's usually what gets me. And like, I guess I don't have to worry so much about fighting type because I'm gonna be psychic type, but seriously, I have no idea how I'm gonna win that run. I can only assume it's gonna be the kind of run where like, by the ghost gym, I'm gonna be needing to use rare candy cheats so that the run doesn't take a month to get finished. Like, that's, no. I assume it's gonna be a nightmare. And literally, the only reason I'm doing that challenge, even though it's been requested to me since I started doing Pokemon challenges like 4 years ago, the only reason I'm doing it is because I thought of a really funny name. I don't even remember now if I'm the one who thought of naming Chingling Mike Bell, which is like a enhancement talent from way back in the day in WWE, who had a famous incident with Perry Saturn that some of you will know about. That's pretty much the main reason I wanted to do it, is because I couldn't think of any other wrestler to use the name Mike Bell on. But now I'm second guessing it because it was so many years ago that I wrote down the idea to do that. And now I'm second guessing if maybe like a fan came up with the name Mike Bell and sent it to me, because like, I know who Mike Bell is, and I know the Perry Saturn thing, but did I think of that, or did someone recommending Chingling think of that? I don't know. I could see it being either way, so now I feel bad if someone else did suggest that. But maybe they're still watching 4 years later. Maybe they're gonna hear the intro of this, and they're gonna be able to say, yeah, that was me who said the Mike Bell thing. Or maybe everyone's just gonna take credit for the Mike Bell thing now that I said it out loud. Not sure. Not sure. You know what I am sure about? I'm sure that I got a grocery delivery showing up in roughly 20 minutes. So I'm gonna go get a little bit of food in me. I'm going to bring in some groceries when it gets here. And then I guess I'm gonna start that nightmarish Chingling run. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.